In this episode of Stories of the Sierra, we uncover a gold rush conflict few people have ever heard of, but one that once made headlines around the world. In 1849, tensions between American and Chilean miners in Calaveras County erupted into violence, trials, and executions. This became known as the Chilean War of Calaveras County. Today, along Highway 49, between San Andreas and Mokelumne Hill, California State Historical Marker number 265 marks the site of this conflict in a mining area once known as Chili Gulch. Immigration during the gold rush was widespread, but the influx of Chilean miners was unique. As early as 1848, large numbers of Chileans began arriving in California. Following the discovery of gold at Coloma, experienced Chilean miners traveled to San Francisco and into the foothills, bringing with them advanced mining knowledge. Among these miners were peons, or indentured laborers, working on behalf of Chilean elites. Gold extracted in California was often sent back to Chile. By July 1849, Chilean officials grew concerned about population loss. Government records show that more than 3,000 passports for California had been issued. The mines around Mokelumne Hill proved extraordinarily productive, making the area one of the wealthiest in Calaveras County. With that wealth came conflict. The Chilean miners operated under a loosely organized system led by Dr. Concha. Their success and efficiency quickly drew resentment from Anglo-American miners. In response, a group of disgruntled Anglo miners, led by Judge Collier, drafted a series of resolutions asserting American mining rights and calling for expulsion. They also enacted a foreign miners' tax, punishing them because they were better miners than the Americans. Rather than restoring order, these measures triggered immediate violence. Claim jumping and looting followed the next day. The Chileans initially chose a legal response. A delegation traveled to Stockton to report their mistreatment and succeeded in securing a warrant for Judge Collier's arrest. However, upon returning, they found Judge Scollin unwilling to serve the warrant. Collier had reportedly threatened to kill him if he attempted to do so. Frustrated, some Chilean miners took up arms. They moved on a nearby mining area known as Iowa Cabins, where Anglo miners were camped. Accounts vary. Colonel James Ayers wrote, "Suddenly our tent flaps were thrown aside and a dozen guns were pointed at us." The captured Anglo miners were marched to Judge Scollin, who again refused to intervene. The Chileans began escorting the prisoners towards Stockton. The effort failed. Within hours, an armed posse of American miners overtook them. The captors became the captured. The Chileans were returned and placed on trial. The court disregarded the unlawful measures and dismissed evidence that legal remedies had been pursued. Severe sentences followed. 3 men were sentenced to death. Others received public lashings. The punishments were carried out 3 days later, bringing a violent end to what history remembers as the Chilean War of Calaveras County. This war happened because of economic fear and resentment by the American miners. Chilean miners were targeted not simply because they were foreign, but because they were more successful. Long before most American miners arrived in the foothills, Chile had a well-established mining economy. Chilean miners came to California with advanced techniques, organized labor systems, and experience working difficult claims that others abandoned. They recovered gold where others could not. That success drew attention. In 1850, California enacted the Foreign Miners License Tax, a law aimed almost entirely at non-American miners. While it applied broadly in language, enforcement fell hardest on Chileans, Mexicans, and Chinese miners, groups who consistently outperformed others in gold extraction. The tax was not about regulation, it was about removal. By imposing fees that many could not afford, local authorities and vigilante groups sought to push skilled foreign miners out of profitable claims and reclaim them for American use. In Calaveras County, these tensions were already present before the tax became law. The Chilean War revealed what would soon become policy: economic competition reframed as legal authority, and success treated as a threat. The conflict ended in public punishment, but its legacy endured, setting a pattern that would repeat across the Sierra as foreign skill and labor were first exploited, then punished, and finally erased from the official record. After Chilean miners were forced out in the early 1850s, Chili Gulch did not disappear immediately, but it never recovered. American miners moved in and reworked the claims that had already been developed. For a short time, mining continued. But without the cooperative labor systems and advanced techniques the Chilean miners had used, the gulch proved difficult to work. The remaining gold was harder to extract. Returns were inconsistent and interest faded quickly. By the mid-1850s, mining activity declined sharply. Communities of Chinese miners soon moved into the area, continuing to work the claims. By the 1870s, Chili Gulch entered a new phase entirely with the rise of large-scale hydraulic mining. With water supplied by the Mocolumna Hill Campo Seco Canal, miners were able to process gravels year-round. Entire sections of the gulch's hillsides were washed downstream as hydraulic monitors reshaped the landscape. Unlike other gold rush sites that boomed and collapsed dramatically, Chili Gulch simply faded from use. As miners moved on to more profitable strikes, the gulch was abandoned. In addition to gold mining, outcroppings of rhyolite in the area were quarried for building stone and gravel, further altering the terrain. This period brought a level of prosperity and stability not seen during the earlier mining years. A more settled population took hold. In 1857, a school was established in the gulch with 57 children enrolled, signaling the presence of families rather than transient miners. That same year, a short-lived post office named Chili was established, further marking the area as a functioning community. But the boom did not last. As mining declined toward the end of the 19th century, families gradually moved on. The school, once a sign of permanence, closed in 1919 as the population dwindled. Ranching, however, persisted. While mining faded, agricultural use remained viable and the land transitioned into grazing. Today, the area once known for conflict, industry, and settlement is used primarily for cattle grazing. The only formal acknowledgement of its history is a historical marker along a highway. In the end, Chili Gulch followed a common gold rush trajectory: short-term success, conflict, abandonment, and gradual erasure. What remains is not the site itself, but the question of what was lost when it was lost. Thank you for listening to my Sierra story today. The history of the gold rush is full of forgotten places like Chili Gulch, places that tell us more about who we were. Please join me next time for another story from the Sierra Nevadas. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more history and even some ghost stories from time to time. See you in the next one.